for Grandmother Lyman and Grandpa Lyman's reunion, which will mainly take place tomorrow. And we're going to take pictures of all the pygmies. Josh, Jason, Billy, and Caroline and Mark.
Can I sit down here? I'm here to Jacob. What's up, Jacob?
How old are you?
3.
This is the remains of the old ranch house where I used to live when I was a kid. For a short period of time that we've known. They're going to tear it down to build a new home up here.
glad that your gun is fine. Squid tiger! Shoot this squid tiger! What do you mean? No. Right, here, let me shoot. It's a pot. Yeah. You saw a squid tiger too. So I gotta shoot the monster. What was it? Monster. What was it? Monster.
Have a nice time. Look, Brett, that's not how you do it. Let me show you.
Where's Paul?
Here.
He's up at the trailer, up at Greg's.
You put the mitt on this hand. Okay, because is this the hand you write with? Is he right-handed, Matt? Okay, you put the mitt in this hand and put your fingers, get them in there. Fingers. You see, find the little holes in there? I think it's right there. There you go. There should be one for every finger. Your little finger goes
That's
straight over here.
monster for you. It's good. Shawnee?
Your thumb goes over here.
Shoot the monster. You like? Shot him.
Here, now look, your thumb goes in the
I
squid.
saw
There you go.
You saw
Now.
monster.
Okay, no, wait, let me get over here. Okay, now don't throw it real hard. Okay, now take it out with your right hand, that's the way. Okay,
I forgot.
here you go. Good, all right, Brett, already. That's really good, honey.
Now shoot it.
Almost. Okay. Is your mitt staying on? $3, Matt, you should go buy all your kids one of these.
What's on monster for you? I saw monster for you.
Too bad, I could have bought some wiffle balls the other day. You didn't watch the ball all the way. You have to keep your eye on the ball all the time, okay? Good on you. Did you see how good he is, Matt? He's pretty good. Okay, now watch the ball all the time, okay? All right. I tell you, Matt.
Right under me.
Yeah, it sure did. Okay, now watch the ball.
It's coming down before I catch it.
Okay, watch the ball.
Wow, it's crazy.
Kind of bounce, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, keep your eye on the ball.
Wow. That was fun. Before it happened.
All right. What's the matter, Jacob? What's the matter? Okay, turn your mitt under if it's better that way for you.
Are you gonna watch our tree while we're gone?
Lisa, here comes Marie.
No, Marie, you're going.
Taking pictures.
Where are we gonna go?
Take Mommy to the doctor.
When does she need to go to the doctor?
She's sick.
She's sick?
Mhm.
What are you doing?
You always gotta fool with the junk. Can't ever bring the good stuff. Did you get some still shots of that antenna? Mm-hmm.
You guys, that's gonna run! That my puddle, okay? Right there. I'll jump off of that one.
to ask your mom about it, though.
Who's this?
Sheem.
We can get the
Good.
horses
You
on.
can even get in these driveways. Jump to George like that yet? What did she do exactly, Mike?
They dumped water on me. Well, that's not grounds for anything, is it?
No! So help me!
We didn't go to the doctor. And Ines.
I saving some money to buy some.
No, they didn't do that either. We sat around Aunt Ines. No.
Hey, you like it? I have a
Well, for all the grandsons, I started mission now.
You weren't in the back with all the rest of the kids?
Oh,
That's good. It'll be worth it. I mean, the fish are worth $1,000.
What were you watching for 35mm? This is what I wanted to see.
in what? Start walking, boy. Start walking.
Huh? Take that piece right there. Take this piece right here. Right here. Take that piece. Take that piece. Right here. Right here. Take the piece right there. There we are. Come on, stay there. Hurry! Hurry! That's okay. You eat that.
We won't need to hear from him. You got it. You must have read it first hand.
Yes.
You're just it's conjecture at this point on your part.
What speculation? See, I'm the one that's got it. Major, either that or
Major or well,
They
blacks.
said-
Blacks. How about blacks get the priesthood?
They said major because that night, you see, Meta never got anything. She was so concerned because they played all the Maria. The devotion. She called me and says, how come I
Connor.
did that? And I said, well,
Connor.
salvation stuff. And so, I said, what did you think about that? And maybe she hadn't even heard it.
Why did
Right down by cables, and there's whoosh, right down the horse went under and had them as just whoosh. You want to burn brush pile. Should we cook the dinner here? Probably be better, huh?
I like that with hot dogs.
Well, it is, but hamburgers too. So maybe we better take them over across the creek, huh? We had a bunch of brush piles over there we were going to burn down beyond that tree. And so we ought to just go ahead and take the tables over there and take that grill to cook on. Cook hamburgers on and then hot dogs on a stick, huh? Look at that walk on the kid.
Let's not swing on that, okay? Kids don't walk. You still wouldn't have to walk over. You have the same thing. You have to do this. You have to try to slip right over. Okay? That's really dangerous now. Okay? These little ones, they don't walk. They don't see it. Okay? Please? See what happened here? That's what happened here. Because these little ones don't walk.
Find the dirt, Jack? Did you find the dirt, Jack? Good. Likes that. Maybe we better find a place like that or something. Get some sand or something.
He thinks that's great. He thinks that is great. That is so funny. Let's go show Grandma. Shall we, Jacob or Eli? Jacob?
Did you get that on film?
Look at that, Bobby.
Hey, let's see that lip.
Can't hear you.
See that lip.
You do? Tony and
Dwayne.
Lane,
Yeah, that's what
we can watch you on TV tonight.
It'll just really cut that gum up.
You want to say something important?
Do you know what strep
Nope.
looks like? Do I have it? Never had any problems.
Are you feeling better with that penicillin?
I'm
Ah! Did they put him on penicillin? Well, see, his throat looks like
I did too.
His was a little bit worse. Mine's a little worse.
No, his was.
His was.
You should have seen.
So it's basically the same thing.
Oh yeah,
with God.
it is the same thing. So
Boy,
you're both
it's
on.
sore. It's sore. Oh man, Bill has sore. This one is okay. They're just sore and bad. Well, I'll say it's sore.
You got lip goes up in the back.
Now I'm all sore here. I'm real sore, like pulled muscles into my shoulder
Your
here.
lips go clear all the way down. And
That's
down
why. Tularemia or something. Kid crying and that. Let's go show Grandma.
Pygmies all around.
Mom, will you go for a ride with me?
You want to set your tent up?
Yeah, you set it down.
These little girls out.
Cars.
Is that Maria stuck in the barbed wire?
Mm-hmm.
You want me to go down and save her? It might cut her up pretty bad. I've never been able to get stuck in barbed wire and not get cut.
Only if we end up in that one ditch and everyone's on the wrong side. Well, I think I'll walk down.
Jump up in the back.
Kids and grandkids die without you.
You don't want to be here all by
You don't want to watch it. You've got this. We're going down over there. You'll see it. Let me drive.
Okay.
No, we don't.
Where is she?
What's up?
We're unloading the cattle out of the truck.
Eli? Hey, Phil? Eli right there. Eddie? Green hat, blue hat. Yeah. He's right here. He's right here. I thought maybe a horse decided they wanted to ride. slide down the bell?
What do you got?
Get your bun. Go get your bun. Go get your bun, Eli.
I'm gonna get my bag.
Hey, Wendy, would you give me a hot dog bun? I was looking for you. Hot dog bun's ready here.
Right here.
Ready here.
What's Ben said? Right here.
Jackaroo. So I want to find
But it was good. It was first time.
Oh, okay, here it is right here. Still got 5 more hot dogs. 5 more hot dogs.
Do that.
Get your hot dog.
Here comes the friend. Who wants a hot dog? Who wants a hot dog?
Get some ketchup in there.
Going to get some chips out.
Vince, you want to have a hamburger or
Where's the hot dog? Huh? They cooked them all already? They ate half the hot dogs with no buns at all. Ray told me that well, they're going to make hot dogs.
she like rattlesnake? What?
Stuart Lyman. Get wicked. He wants to get away. Hi, Leah.
It was really interesting.
See, I really got off on this date. It didn't cost money.
You never know. Like it.
Look out. Look out. Oh, no. Now, let's see.
He's at the dog.
Does somebody want to try this one? We're out. Well, let's see. I think we're done if they're not stopped. Okay. Let's grab this guy right here. Well, that's kind of smoky. I must be right hot. They're over yonder. I don't know. This side here. Don't matter.
Hot dog.
Out of hot dogs, sir. Can you get a hamburger on there?
We didn't get
This is nobody's business.
You stay out here, Mark. Because you're playing with us.
Don't leave the base until it's hit. I'm leaving when he swings. Time out.
Huh?
Watch out, wait. He's in there. Watch it. Go, Billy, go.
Put Michael in the truck. Let's go. Well, hurry up! Another country here.
Filming. Oh, you want to say something intelligent on the camera?
If I said something, it'd have to be intelligent, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Eat breakfast. Chase the horse.
Come on, Paul. Grandkid picture. Come on, grandkid.
Are we grandkids?
Yes, we are. All of us are. When are y'all born?
I'm not. I'm home.
You have your picture. Get over there.
I think there's a generation gap. He's gonna get some M&M's. Crack all the Kathy can run it. She's got her hands on.
Shorter, taller.
Don't compare it to height anymore.
You want to go by height. You're the
Me and Jay.
Go by height.
And
Just come up, give you a hug, didn't you, Jack? Remember you hug him.
We lining up by size or importance or age?
Size. No, line up like.
I can't imagine a horse getting hurt or any kid getting hurt in this escapade.
You're taller than Jennifer.
I'll be right back. Gotta grab a tissue. Who's gonna run this? Didn't even focus.
I'm 5'4".
Okay, we'll frame it in. Probably be involved. The Simmons mat.
Red light, come on.
Taking our shirts down.
Up there.
Kind of like my Mark. He doesn't do much with anybody. Just Goes around by himself.
Great grandkids, and I'm the
The red light on?
Now we have it.
Well, we're about out of battery anyway.
Let's zoom in on her. Focus up. There's Maddie. Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Paul.
Is the sound on this?
Yes, and it picks up very good.
It does?
Yes.
Where'd Wendy go? Sing, Wendy.
Can you see?
I never will marry.
Yeah. You'll never will marry. I'll be no man's wife. Hello.
Yes, thank you. I can. But I appreciate your.
What are you looking at, Dad? What are you looking at, Daddy?
This is April 5th, 1983. I'm at the Fiddletown Cemetery in Fiddletown, California, taking a picture of my Uncle Blaine Lyman's grave and the family plot. Just taking a picture of grave site where my cousin Annette Lyman will be buried, who was killed 2 nights ago in a car wreck in Nevada.
He was buried right there, Dad.
Nobody.
He was standing right there, Dad. And that father came out there, Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he was alive again. And nobody was thinking like they died. And what this is, Daddy? What this?
In the choir, and that would be a bummer.
Oh, man. Call that girl tonight to see how she's doing. Her dad's not too hip on her. She was going to try to come in. I got there, Monday, stayed Monday night, and then Tuesday up until about 2 o'clock. And then Dave Lyman, and then Sheem and Greg came and got me. They picked up the net too. We took off at about 2:30, I guess, from Battle Mountain, and we drove all the way and made it back here at about 10.
Step out of the way, we gotta get the raviolis in the pit.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, no, it was over there. Gotta get Jody in the pit.
You want the raviolis?
I'm the list taker. Okay.
This is Wednesday, April 6, 1983. This is Roger Lyman. We're in Ione, California, and we're going to have him tell some of the events that led up to the accident, things that he remembers concerning the accident that took the life of Annette, his sister and our cousin, and just some events that might be significant to the family members in the future. So Raj, why don't you go ahead and tell us? You don't really need to talk loud, it picks up the sound pretty good.
Okay. I was on, I guess it was the 3rd, which was Sunday, the 3rd of April. We stayed up and we were going to leave that night, and we decided to stay and watch the sting.
You should tell who.
Okay, those Ned Campbell was over at his grandmother's, Rula Campbell and Bud Campbell's, watching the sting as well, and Annette, Lyman, and Mara Williams were at our house, as well as myself, are watching the sting. As soon as the sting got over, we proceeded to pack the Toyota Celica, which was Annette's car, and get things ready to go. We left at about 12:15 or so, and I started to drive, and one thing I felt was helpful to myself was I took a little pill called it was something like a no-dose type thing to keep me from falling asleep at the time, and so I drove until, let's see, I guess it was Lovelock, Nevada. We arrived in Lovelock at about 5:30 or so, quarter after 5 in the morning on Monday the 4th. And road conditions were fairly good, except going over the Donner Pass. We went 80 the whole way. Donner Pass was kind of wind blown, and the snow had been blown into the road, and so that was kind of bad. But other than that, it was okay. And then at Lovelock, Mara took over and drove until Winnemucca. And at Winnemucca, we decided that we needed some more gas, so we filled up then. And then, as we filled up, Ned took over as driver, Ned Campbell, and Mara and I got in the back seat, and PD got in the front seat on the passenger side. And then we took off, and probably one of the last things that I knew was I was laying on right behind Ned, and then Mara was sort of laying on me, and we both fell asleep there, and PD fell asleep in the passenger side. Well, from my understanding, when the accident happened, it was outside of Battle Mountain, about 20 or 30 miles. And I was totally asleep the whole time, or at least unconscious anyway. That's what they tell me. And I didn't awake until they took us to the hospital at Battle Mountain. But this is what they told me had happened was Ned was driving, and he was feeling kind of sleepy, and he got a little close to the edge on the right side, and then he kind of overcorrected and went off the left side of the road, which was about 50 feet. And the car proceeded to go. Well, Ned noticed that he was kind of getting drowsy, and he was going off to the right side of the road, and so he caught himself a little too fastly, and it kind of overcorrected himself and went off to the left side. And it would have been fine if the road wasn't, if there was still road to go down, but it was kind of steep, from what they tell me, anywhere from 50 feet or so. And he went over this way and then went frontwards and kind of rolled it. And then, of course, as it went on, it went sideways and rolled it. And it was during that time when all the window was broken out of the vehicle. And it was during that time, towards the very end of it, that Annette was thrown out her window. And myself, in my portion of my window that was on the side behind the driver, my head was sticking out the back of that window. And of course, Mara was trapped by me. She must have been stuck underneath me, and where she couldn't go anywhere. And Ned gradually worked his way towards the back, which I hear eventually probably saved his life. And of course, if we would have took one more turn, or a half a turn more, it probably would have ended my life as well. So we were all very fortunate. But then at that particular time, as well as from what I've heard, a man stopped immediately afterwards, and he went in and he found Annette, and but she was very weak at the time, and of course felt a very strong spirit behind her, and the fact that her time was come and that she was to be taken to our Father in heaven, which was a very great strength to our family. And of course they then came to us in the car and asked if anybody needed a blessing, and Ned asked, "Do you have the priesthood?" And he said, "I'm a stake president from Sacramento." And Ned said, "Yes, we all need one." And so he proceeded to give us all a blessing with the priesthood. which I believe would be very helpful. And then at that particular time, Mara and Ned was awake. I was still unconscious to whatever degree it was. And then the next thing I remember is waking up in Battle Mountain Hospital. And I felt pretty sore and pretty rough at the time. And Mara was there just a room across from me. She was there as well. And Ned was taken to Elko, Nevada, to be able to be at a little stronger hospital because of the things that have happened to him. But myself, of course right now I feel very strong. I have some bad spots on my head and on my face, as you could probably see, and of course there's a bad spot on my back rib. But other than that, I feel pretty good. Oh, yeah, so you get a little picture of my face here. And but other than that, of course, things went very well, considering the car was totaled, and these glasses that I'm now wearing are old glasses from the mission field because I lost my other ones somewhere in the trip. I lost my watch in the trip, and so they're now trying to find those, but other than that, that's basically the happening.
Tell us about the members of the church there.
Okay. While there, the Battle Mountain Hospital is one that isn't very well known, I guess you could say. They have a total of 16 beds, 2 in each room, 2 beds in each room. So it's not a very big one at all. And I think at the particular time when I was there, I think there was 5 people that were there at the hospital at that one time. And the members of the church who always came, there was a bishopric, member of the bishopric who was there, and the bishop's wife who was there constantly, always stopping in and checking on me and seeing how I was doing, stopping in and checking on Mara, asking if we could do anything at all, feed us at any time at all. And it was a very great strength to be able to know that saints and members were there and were showed forth with caring love and kindness towards us all. And that really did help quite a bit. And I know the same thing went on for Ned in Elko, Nevada, because they said that they were there as well, and they had contacted with the members there. And so it's good to know that the members are there to help each and every one of us. And the hospital was excellent too. The doctor was really good. The nurses were really kind and polite to us in all that we did. And so it was really a good thing to have them by us.
Okay, now tell us about Sheem and Greg and Dave showing up.
Okay, on Monday morning early, about 3 a.m., Sheem Lyman and Greg Lyman, my 2 brothers. Oh yeah, that was Tuesday morning at 3 a.m. They showed up, and Dave Lyman, who was there, my cousin, but the nurse wouldn't let him come in, and he was a little upset about that. But Greg and Sheem came in and talked to me and asked me how I was doing, and I can remember waking up and seeing them both. And they said that they would be back later on in the day to pick me up, but that they were going over to Elko to check on Ned and supplies there, as well as check on Annette and to pick up Annette in her casket and to bring her home as well. Well, they went over to Elko and they stayed in a motel for just a couple hours and got a little bit of sleep, and then went over and checked on Ned and got Annette, and then went by the car and picked up all the supplies that they could pick up. And then they showed up back at my hospital at about 2, I guess you could say 2 p.m. And then they got me ready, and after that time I had already taken a bath, which felt very good, and I guess helped my looks a little bit better because they all responded on how much better I looked. And so it was a good comfort to have them there, and of course they were able to there and take us home at that particular time, and then we arrived here in California about 10 that night. And then they took us.
This is Darwin Lyman, Annette's sister, Roger's brother, or Annette's brother and Roger's brother. We're going to have him tell some of the events that he's aware of to try to fill in more details of the story surrounding the accident.
When everything began at on April 4th, 1983 at about 11:20 a.m. Greg and I, working at Rancho Seco Nuclear Power Plant during our lunch hour, were called on the phone or paged by the operator, came to the phone and talked with Christine and informed of the news. We immediately left and arrived here in Ione at about 20 minutes to 12 or somewhere thereabouts on that same day. We called, Christine had already called my mom from work, and she was on her way down to the house, and after explaining what had happened to her as far as we had the information, we decided that it would be necessary for us to go with Roger being in the hospital at Battle Mountain. And we thought at first, from the information that we had gotten, that the mortuary in Winnemucca had taken care of the preparation of the body, but later we found through phone calls that in actuality the mortuary in Elko had taken care of things. We made arrangements, many phone calls, talked with the man over in Elko, talked with the funeral home here in Jackson, and decided that it would be best if we left as soon as we could get ready. So we, after making several arrangements and trying many plans, we decided that Lynn Campbell's van would be the best vehicle, and that Greg, Dave, Lyman, and myself would go to get Roger and Petey both. So by the time we arranged things and we decided that we would, in order to make sure of the quality and the type of casket that we wanted, we picked that out up at the Denary Funeral Home in Jackson, prepared Lynn's van with a mattress for Roger to lay on, and we went through Fiddletown to shower and get some clothes, and went over Highway 88, leaving at about 8 p.m. from my house up at the ranch. We drove straight through to Battle Mountain, where Roger was in the hospital, and we arrived there at about 3 in the morning, and the nurse let us go in to see him. Dave had to stay in the waiting room due to my honesty in admitting that he wasn't one of the brothers. Great to his dismay and sadness, he had to stay in the waiting room. So Greg and I went in and woke, well, the nurse helped us wake Roger up, and we told him we were there and what our plans were, that we were going to go on to Elko and be back the next morning. So what we're talking about now is 3 a.m. on Tuesday, April 5th. We drove to Elko, and under Dave's directions decided when we got there at 5 a.m. to take a motel room for just a short time so that we could shower, change clothes, and take a nap. We did that, and then woke and got aroused at about 7, I guess, and called the funeral home. Went over there, dropped the casket off. They said they would make the preparations that they needed to. Ned Campbell, who was driving the car, was in the hospital at Elko, and we went. In the meantime, while the mortuary was making these preparations, we went over and visited with him and his family that were there at Elko, and then had some breakfast and returned to the funeral home. We had our own viewing of the body, and then loaded the casket into the van and headed for Battle Mountain. Greg, I guess, noticed that one of the rear tires on the van was quite low, and so we pulled into a service station before we left Elko and made the decision that we needed to change that tire, so we bought another one and had that put on, and then left Elko for Battle Mountain. The only mix-up in the whole proceedings and all the people we dealt with was the fact that they included on the report or death certificate from this funeral home or mortuary in Elko a middle name for Annette that didn't exist, and so we made some more phone calls to get that corrected and went on our way. As we entered or got back to Battle Mountain, where the car was towed We had to find the towing agency and went out and talked with them, sifted through what the remains of that were in the car, got what we thought was all that we could find of the clothing and things. Most of the suitcases were intact, and there wasn't a piece of glass left intact in the whole automobile. We had been amazed at the damage done to the car, that those that were in it had survived. We made a little inspection on our own. We tried to locate the site of the accident on the way home, back through from coming from Elko to Battle Mountain, but couldn't locate the spot. We talked with the tow truck driver, and he indicated that it was very fortunate that Roger had remained without any injuries worse than what he had. Then we went from there over to the hospital, which was about 3 in the afternoon by this time, which would have been about 12 hours since we had seen Roger first. We were amazed at the progress and healing that he had made. And we waited for the doctor's permission, talked with him for a few minutes about his condition, and loaded up into the back of Lynn's van with Roger on the bed, laid down and ready to go back. So we left and drove straight to Winnemucca, where we stopped for some prescriptions that the doctor at the hospital had given us. Had something to eat there and gave Roger a painkiller pill, and he slept from there or somewhere before Lovelock, Nevada, to within 3 miles of town here when we awakened him. It seemed like in an overall explanation, we left at 8 o'clock Monday, April 4th, and returned at about 10 p.m. on Tuesday night, so we were talking about 26 hours of travel time to go over and do whatever business we had. We were amazed and appreciative of all the people that we met in Nevada, particularly in Battle Mountain. Brother David, I believe his first name was David Layton, who was a member of the bishopric, who stayed there with Roger and Mara, Roger's girlfriend, in the hospital there for several hours, and waited for us to get there on Tuesday afternoon, who was more helpful and conscientious than anyone we have met. We appreciated his help and support, and we understood that the members in Elko, although we weren't associated with them, had given equal treatment to Ned and his family who were staying there. There were no real complications, although it seems like things take longer than what you expect. Everything went according to plan, and we then dropped Roger off here at approximately 10 o'clock on Tuesday night, and then took the casket up to the Denary Funeral Home in Jackson, and finished the trip in that manner. I think for overall explanation of the trip, that was about the size of it. We learned as many details as we could on the way over there, although the tow truck driver said that described that they had rolled over several times and end over end one time. We talked with a mortician who was there on the scene, who said that Petey was, by the time he had arrived some 40 miles from Elko, that she had died there. Through the whole thing, we had been assured and had felt that we peaceful in the things that we were doing, and confident that Heavenly Father was there to protect us in our travels, and that the program that He had set forth had been carried out, and that we felt blessed in the way and manner in which everything was handled in a potential.
This is Christine Stewart, sister to Annette and Roger and Jean and Greg. She was the one that took the original phone call from those in Nevada, so we'll let her tell some of her circumstances of the things that she knows.
Well, it was about right after 10 o'clock, I had taken Allison down to the doctor for a sore foot, probably repercussions of the reunion, and had just gotten home and had breakfast dishes all over the table and had gotten the call from what I thought was Bishop Layton, but apparently that's not so. He's a member of the bishopric, and he was asking for the bishop. And of course, Lou had gone to Reading with Matt and would be gone the entire day, and I told him there'd be no way he could get in touch with him. Could I take the message? And he says, well, I guess I'll have to tell you there's been a tragedy with the kids. I'm from Battle Mountain, and Annette's been killed. And my first instinct was, Annette, that's my baby sister, is what I said to him, and he said, I realize that. Mara has given us that information, but I have no other alternative but to tell you that that's what's happened. And I calmly took all the information. He told me where Roger was, that Ned Jr. had been taken to Elko, and I asked him, and that Mara was fine and just been put in for observation. And I asked him if he had notified the Campbells, and he didn't know how to get a hold of them, so I calmly tried to find the phone number for Campbell's, and so I gave him Ned and Pat's phone number in Provo. My first instinct was to get a hold of Shimi, and so I had to call the ranch for the number at work. So then I had to tell Ellen on the phone, and she said, just a minute, I'll get Cynthia. And so I had to tell Cynthia on the phone, and Cynthia was so hysterical that I finally said, you'll have to put Ellen back on the phone now, because she couldn't talk. So I got the number from Ellen, and I called, I'll bet I called a half an hour, and the line was busy. Couldn't get through, and I finally, in that meantime, had gone over to the house. Call that dog, please. Over to the house and told Grandma Lyman. Mom had gone to work at 10 early so she could get off at 6. And I told her what had happened, and I kept trying to call out to the Rancho Seco plant and couldn't get through. The lines were just busy.
What did Grandma Lyman say?
Grandma, as a rock, I can't remember her first reactions. When she came back down, she said, well, darn 'em, anyway, referring to Dad and Grandpa Lyman. She said, I told them one time that they couldn't take any of my kids, so they took me at my word and took a grandchild. But she was just pure strength for all of us. So I finally called the operator to make sure that the numbers were correct and that I didn't need an area code change or something, and she got right through to Rancho Seco. Ellen had told me that the boys were working in the reactor today and it'd probably be really hard to get a hold of them, but Shimi was on the line within a minute after the phone rang to the plant. And I had to tell him on the phone. I said, can you just come home? And so Grandma and I sat there waiting for the boys, and I knew I needed to get Mom here, but I didn't want to tell her on the phone, and I didn't know how to get her here without telling her that something had happened. So I said, well, I'll call her boss, whose name's Boots, and see if she's there, I'll tell her and tell her I need her to come home. And so I asked for Boots' exchange, and Mom answered the phone. And I said, how you doing? Boots not there? And she says, no, not today. And I said, oh, well, the Girl Scout cookies are here, because she orders cases of Girl Scout cookies from Megan. And, oh, good, she says, we'll just really enjoy those. And I just kept going on. She wanted to talk and chat, and I just couldn't tell her anything. So I finally got off the phone and said, I'll call the other exchange. Oh, I said, is Schwing there, who's the other nurse? She said, yes, she's in the clinic, where Mom usually works. So I said, I hung up. I said, well, I'll call Schwing and see if I can get her to get Mom home. So I call, and I go, hi, Sil. How you doing? This is Christine. Oh, you want to talk to your mom? She's right here. I said, ugh, I don't want to talk to my mom. But I finally just bit the bullet and said, we've had an emergency. Can you come home? Why? I said, just come home. Okay? Goodbye. Hung up. And so, yeah, and I just couldn't tell her. So by the time in that 5 to 10 minutes, Sheem and Greg had come in, and Cynthia was at the ranch, of course, with Ellen and things, and so the boys had come in, and we saw Mom drive up, and so Shimi met her out here at the driveway, and I came out right after, and he just came right out with it. The kids have been in an accident, and it's been killed, and she just dropped to her knees, and he held her up, literally held her up, and so we got her in the house, and she needed that time by herself. I think if Bud had been home, he could have heard her. She was just hysterical, but
she needed that time. And then right after that, she wasn't in the house 5 seconds, and Cynthia came with Cindy and her kids, and she was just, it was just like, you can't believe what you hear. And after that little bit of time, then she calmed down. The grandkids, Blaine sat on her lap and hugged her, and Blaine was frightened from her being so upset, and I finally went over to him and I told him, I said, she needs to do this. She needs to cry right now. That's the most important thing she could do, so don't be afraid of that. And so the kids were kind of meandering around, and by the time Ellen had finally come down and we were all there, and we just put our heads together to find out what the situations were, and Greg got on the phone and really took over as far as finding out that the body had been put in Elko instead of Winnemucca, which he told me she was in Winnemucca. And the boys just kind of took over, so I was kind of relieved of my pressure of having to be the first one to know. But once the boys got there, it's like, okay, yay, you're here, I'm done, I won't worry about it anymore. And they just took charge, and then we tried to get the cars situated. They were going to take 2 cars, one to bring the body home and one to bring Roger home. Then the station wagon wasn't large enough for the coffin to fit in, so we decided on a van, and I said, I know Len Campbell would be more than happy to let us take the van, and Shimi got on the phone to talk to Merle, and before he hung up the phone to talk to Merle, then there was Lynn. And that was, I turned around and I said, what is he doing here? Because we thought we would have to hunt all over the county for him, and so that was the most interesting first step that we had to know that this had to be a right thing, that everything's fallen into place, that I can say that we know this is just her mission and her call, and everything so far, no matter what it is or who's commented about it, has proved to us that that's true, and that we know that she's happy, and we certainly have had a lot of support, family and friends, and it's been wonderful to have Grandma here with us. And I hope that all the family can come safely, and our most concern right now is for Ned Jr., and our prayers are with him just so that he knows.
This is my Aunt Ina Lyman, the mother to the ones that we've been talking to and of Annette, and we'll have her tell some of the experiences that she had concerning this incident.
Christine called up at Preston and told me, Mother, we have a family emergency, can you come home? And I said, well, I guess I can. And we were really busy, and I couldn't imagine what she needed me to come home for, but I got my coat on and I went home, and as I got to the gate, I kept going through my mind all the things that could be wrong, and then it just came to me that it was about time for the kids to be in Provo, and we should be getting word that they were there. And the closer I got to home, I just knew there was something wrong with those kids. And then when I got home, I saw Greg's car in the driveway, and I thought, oh, they've had an accident at Rancho Seco. And then I saw Shimi come out of the house and Greg come out of the house, and then Shimi rushed over and said that there had been an accident and that Annette had been killed. Grandma Lyman always was maintaining that this was meant to be, and I just couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe it. Until the next morning, we got a call from President Parsons from Sacramento. He's a state president there, and he said he was coming back from Salt Lake with his daughter. And he said, I want you to know that I was right there the minute that it happened. I saw the accident, and I saw her, and I ran over to her and held her in my arms. And he said that they tried to resuscitate her and give her CPR, and nothing helped. And he said, I gave her a blessing, and her eyelids fluttered, and she just relaxed and was gone. He said, I want you to know that I had a feeling that she was a special girl, and that she was just called home. And that has been such a comfort to us, that we knew that he was there, and he gave her a blessing and was there with her. that she wasn't alone, that she didn't suffer. And he said he went to the car and comforted the other kids and calmed them down, and it took him quite a while to get him out of about 45 minutes to get him out of the car, and he followed with them to Battle Mountain and contacted the church there. Couldn't get the bishop right then, but he got the Elders Quorum president, and he came right over, and they gave him blessings, and then they took little Ned to Elko, and they kept Mara and Roger in Battle Mountain, and they had a member of the church right there with him all the time. And when Christine called to talk to him, the nurse said, well, he's asleep, but there's a member of your church here, and she talked to that man. He said, I'm just sitting here with Roger, and that he's fine, and he's just sleeping. We feel that in spite of the tragedy, the Lord has been with us, and that as hard as this is to endure, that we feel that she's happy now with her father, and that she's all right, and all we need to do is just... Christmas time, she was wondering what to give the children for Christmas, and I said, you ought to make them a tape, you know, sing them some of the primary songs and sing them some of the songs that you like, and tell them some stories. And I said, that you're going to be gone, and you know, and you've been here all fall with them, and they're going to miss you. And I said, they'll just play those tapes over and over. And she said, oh, I don't know, and I didn't press it, she didn't do it. I'm sorry I didn't make her do it, because it would have been so neat to have her sing. She loved to sing. She used to imitate Olivia Newton-John and Marie Osmond. She could sing along with their records, and it sounded like a duet. She used to tape herself singing with their records. When she was just little, she could pick up a tune just quick, and if she couldn't remember the words, she'd make up her own words, but she could remember the tune. She loved to sing, and she and Susie Mel used to sing duets in church, and Suze has a beautiful second voice, and Petey sings soprano, and those girls just sounded so neat together. I wish I had a tape of them singing, because you never value something until it's gone.
Hard to tell which one's the guilty one. Get out of here. It was him, the tallest.
Everybody's together.
Come on, we're missing the game. What about Rod?
Rod's running down to get him. We don't want to bat him in case they don't ever show up.
All right, you fall down first, and then...
Everybody fall back. Everybody go backwards.
That's what I needed. Get closer, get closer. We can't...
My family, I think.
You gotta have Roger.
They're off-ride horses.
Taller guys should be down the bottom.
There he is. That's what I think.
Just rest stop open.
You take up 2 people.
Now look, make this an easy picture.
Let everybody hear this.
You got me on this one, though. I'll hate you forever.
forward.
Always tallest and always last.
Now, what are you going to do with that paper? Put the shorts on the bottom of the hill.
So, who's on this horse now, huh?